The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Supreme Arbiter Zethkalar's crystalline voice echoed through the vast hall. Representatives from 47 species sat in their designated sections, their various forms of breathing creating a symphony of alien respiration. The motion has been passed unanimously, Zethkalar announced, his translucent tentacles rippling with satisfaction. All weapons of any kind are hereby banned from the upcoming Contested Worlds tournament. This includes projectile weapons, energy weapons, bladed instruments, and any device designed for combat. Ambassador Sarah Chen, the sole human representative, remained perfectly still in her chair. Around her, delegates from warrior species like the Krexhai and Vorthak shifted uncomfortably, their natural armaments suddenly rendered useless by bureaucratic decree. The tournament would determine which species gained mining rights to the resource-rich Kepler cluster, a prize worth more than most civilizations' entire economies. Furthermore, Zethkalar continued, each species may send only one champion. The tournament begins in precisely 24 Earth hours. The chamber erupted in concerned chatter. The Thraxians clicked their mandibles anxiously, while the ethereal collective's representatives flickered between visible and invisible states in agitation. Humans, the newest members of the council, had been expected to withdraw from such competitions. Their physical capabilities were laughably average by galactic standards. Sarah stood, her movement causing the chatter to die down. Supreme Arbiter, I request clarification on the weapon ban. Zethkalar's eye stalks focused on her with what passed for amusement among his species. The ban is comprehensive, Ambassador Chen. No manufactured instruments of war will be permitted. And improvised tools? If they are created specifically, as weapons they fall under the ban. Zethkalar's tone suggested he was humoring a child. Surely humanity recognizes the futility of participating. Your species lacks natural weapons, and now artificial ones are forbidden. Sarah smiled, an expression that had always unnerved other council members. We'll participate. I'll inform our champion immediately. As the session adjourned, Ambassador Tekek of the Razor Wing Confederacy approached Sarah. His blade-like appendages scraped against the floor with each step. Human, your people have spirit, but this is madness. My champion's wings can slice through steel, and even I doubt our chances without proper weapons. Sometimes, Sarah replied, the best weapon is the one your enemy doesn't see coming. 23 hours later, Commander Jake Morrison stood in the tournament preparation area, a space the size of a football stadium filled with obstacle courses, combat arenas, and testing grounds. Around him, alien champions prepared for battle. The Krexhai representative Bloodfang Korthek tested his acid breath against metal targets. The Vorthak champion, Ironhide Gralmar, charged through stone barriers with his armored carapace. Morrison, by comparison, appeared to be building something from scrap metal and debris scattered around the preparation area. What is the human doing? Hissed Sisthara, the serpentine champion whose venom could paralyze a starship's crew. The tournament began with a series of elimination rounds. Champions faced various challenges, crossing acid pits, defeating automated defense systems, and navigating maze-like structures filled with traps. One by one, creatures that could bench press hovercars and survive in hard vacuum were eliminated. Morrison advanced through each round, and his behavior grew more puzzling to observers. In the acid pit challenge, he had used strips of metal to create crude sandals, walking across chemical-resistant debris like stepping stones. Against the defense systems, he'd fashioned a crude shield from reflective materials, redirecting energy beams back at their sources. He's making weapons, realized War Master Thakran of the Bone Crusher clan. But how? The sensors should detect any combat implements. Supreme Arbiter Zethkalar examined the readings. They detect nothing. Whatever he's creating doesn't register as weaponry. By the semifinals, only Morrison, Bloodfang Korthek, Ironhide Gralmar, and Sisthara remained. The challenge arena transformed into a multi-level combat zone with environmental hazards and limited cover. Morrison entered carrying what appeared to be a collection of random objects: a metal rod, some cables, a broken circuit board, chunks of concrete, and what looked like a modified ventilation fan. "The human mocks us," growled Korthek, his acid, saliva already dripping in anticipation. The battle began chaotically. Gralmar charged immediately, his massive frame crushing obstacles in his path. Sistara slithered through the upper levels, seeking vantage points for her venomous strikes. Korthek positioned himself to spray acid across wide areas. Morrison seemed to disappear into the maze of debris and barriers. The first sign of his strategy came when Gralmar's charge suddenly stopped. The armored champion found his foot caught in what appeared to be a simple loop of cable, but the angle and tension suggested careful engineering. As he bent to free himself, chunks of concrete tumbled from an improvised counterweight system, striking his head with precise force. "Trap number 1. Morrison's voice echoed from hidden speakers. He'd somehow wired the circuit board into the arena's communication system. Sistara struck next, lunging from above with lethal precision. Her fangs met not flesh but the spinning blades of the modified ventilation fan Morrison held like a shield. The improvised device didn't just block her attack. The rapid rotation created a vortex that pulled her off balance. Weapon number 2. Korthek unleashed a torrent of acid, but Morrison was already gone, leaving behind only the metal rod planted in the ground. The rod, it turned out, was part of an improvised lever system. As the acid ate through strategic support points Morrison had weakened earlier, sections of the upper level collapsed, trapping the HFY champion under rubble. Trap number 3. In the span of 30 minutes, Morrison demonstrated 10 different improvised weapons and traps. The cable snare, the ventilation shield, the acid-triggered collapse, a slingshot made from elastic arena materials, a spear created by sharpening debris, a smokescreen from burning synthetic materials, a flashbang device using overloaded light fixtures, an electromagnetic pulse from rewired electronics, a net woven from cable strands, and finally, a catapult constructed from arena barriers. None of these items registered as weapons to the Council's sensors because they hadn't been weapons until Morrison made them so. Standing victorious in the arena, Morrison looked up at the stunned Council representatives. "Every human child learns this," he called out. "Any tool can be a weapon if you understand physics, chemistry, and leverage. We don't need claws or armor or acid breath. We have something better. We can turn the entire universe into our weapon." Supreme Arbiter Zeth Kalar's tentacles trembled, but the sensors detected no combat implements. Morrison grinned. "That's because you were looking for weapons. I just brought along some perfectly innocent construction materials, communication equipment, and debris. The arena provided everything else." As the Kepler cluster mining rights were officially transferred to humanity, Ambassador Chen received a priority message from Earth. "Tournament victory achieved. Side note, Jake says this barely counts as creative. Apparently, his little sister could have built 15 weapons in the same time frame. Recommend avoiding any conflicts with Earth's engineering corps. The Galactic Council would later amend their weapon ban to include any object or combination of objects that could theoretically be used for combat purposes. The amendment was 3,000 pages long and still failed to account for human ingenuity. After all, banning weapons was easy. Banning the human imagination was impossible.